Hey there, my J Nation. Today's video is talking about the art community and its ties to cringe culture in the past and how cringe culture came from the worst. And I also want to mind that it still has ties to cringe culture, but I don't really think cringe culture has been as bad as it was in the past. And I'm also just talking about just drawing whatever you want and how to come to terms with that and all that stuff. I don't know. So cringe, what is it? It used to be embarrassment or secondhand embarrassment or just something awkward, uncomfortable, and embarrassing. Like, my dog just pooped in my neighbor's front yard. I'm cringing right now. Or I'm cringing at, how I was in the 4th grade. I was so cringing in the 4th grade. That was like the initial meaning, but like most words, it gets a new meaning or meanings, which basically turn into someone just doing something that you just find different or childish or stupid or just something of the lines of it's weird or different. I feel like I need to point this out there, but there's a lot of ties to ableism with the word cringe, and as much as like cringe compilations, if it's not full of kids, it is like autistic and neurodivergent adults or also neurodivergent kids. I'm not saying that cringe itself is ableist. It's just when I hear people use the word cringe, it's usually in a derogatory context. I'm not saying you saying, oh, I was so cringy back in the 4th grade was ableist, but it does have ties to it. Like, I'm not saying you saying the word cringe is ableist. I'm saying, like, how you use it can be ableist and can be harmful and can be derogatory. I feel like I need to clarify that because someone is going to say something that's like, cringe actually isn't ableist, you're just making up. Here's some resources and how I got my information from so people know that I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. And I also want to say that I've also experienced people calling me cringe in the past and current day because of me being neurodivergent, which is something I cannot change. I have seen cringe culture really take its force, back in my day, I sound so old, when someone would be super excited about a video game or a character and they make fan art about it, that's not exactly quote-unquote good art, and people would make fun of it. For example, people deem Sans fangirls as cringe, all the time, when a lot of fangirls were basically 14-year-olds, may I add, neurodivergent 14-year-olds, and they would straight up dogpile on them and harass them. Were their killy fanfics good? No, they were not good in hindsight, but bullying a kid for just expressing themselves is not okay. It can do a number on them since kids are not fully developed, and it can, hurt them in the mean run. And to be honest, even if their Sans X, OC fanfics were bad, that was, my Twilight. I ate it up like it was dinner. Have I ever saw what they saw in that skeleton? No. But did I hate them? No. In fact, those fangirls who simped really hard for those Tumblr sexy men were my Roman Empire. When I was younger, I actually was super fascinated with them because, they enjoyed some character so much that they would tell the whole internet about it, make fanfics about it, make fan art about it, make a whole character as the Tumblr sexy man's girlfriend, make their whole profile about the character. I was fascinated with it because, they were so passionate about some lanky green guy who was greedy or some skeleton dude. How is that not interesting? And I don't mean that in a, oh, that's interesting, mean way. I genuinely mean it. And thing is, a lot of these kids got bullied because they were too into the Onceler or too into Nagito Kamada, which I don't know neurotypical know this, but there's a thing called hyperfixations and special interests. Let's take a dive into that. Hyperfixation can be defined as state of complete absorption in a task. Hyperfixation is a state of complete absorption in a task to a point where a person appears to completely ignore or tune out everything else. Hyperfixation occurs when the brain allows the person, to focus entirely on one point of comparative pleasure and shuts out all other pressures and fears. Hyperfixation can make the person unable to stop the activity and do it all day and night. And by the way, you have no control of that. You don't get to choose what it is, you don't get to choose how long it lasts, and it can be very hard to do other tasks. For example, I had a really bad hyperfixation on The Sims 4 when I was 13. So bad that all I did was play The Sims all day and night till my eyes fluttered shut. I didn't drink, I didn't shower, I didn't sleep, I didn't do basic hygiene needs. and I lost all track of all time. Hyperfixations are usually something that you already enjoy or like. I already like gaming, and I always love to play The Sims, so that hyperfixation was bound to happen. With hyperfixations, you might even increase your knowledge or skill on it. There are other signs to it, like I mentioned, but there's stuff like losing track of important responsibilities, like paying bills, becoming less self-aware as you engage with your interests, becoming less aware of others when you engage with your interests, feeling as if your actions related to your interest are out of control. And what's a special interest? Special interests and hyperfixations are not the same, but they can happen during the same time. A special interest is a very focused interest in a particular topic. The topic of special interest can be just about anything, including specific academic areas, pieces of media, historical events, and more. For some people, special interests become important throughout their lives, influencing their career choices and social circles. For example, someone's hyperfixation could be Frankenstein, and they just purchase a movie adaptation of Frankenstein. They might be completely absorbed with it until they finish the movie, and then afterwards they might look up everything that has to do with that movie and learn all they can about it, ignoring phone calls, the need to eat, and the fact that they need to go to the grocery store that day. If you want to know more about special interests and hyperfixations, I suggest watching some videos from Lugosi Theater on his YouTube and TikTok. His name is Bobby, he has autism, and his special interest is Bela Lugosi's Dracula. And he talks about his passions and what it's like to have autism. So go watch his videos, I think he's quite groovy. Anyway, I went on a whole ramble, but what I'm trying to say is that the whole cringe culture thing usually went after people who are neurodivergent, who are just sharing their hyperfixation special interests, which is something they can't change or do anything about it. As much as I would love to stop talking about Monster High, I can't. I just can't, guys. Sorry. And it's just, this cannot just happen on the internet, but it also can happen in real life, and it cannot just affect neurodivergent folks. It can just affect kids. It could just affect people just liking an interest or just liking something and being told that they're just weird and that they're cringe and then that they should stop it. I remember being told that I was too into Resident Evil, or I took my love for Monster High to an extreme and should tone it down because, well, it's for kids. Which is gang, I wish I could be into something normally, in quotations, but I can't because, well, it's something I have no control of. And me masking and pretending that I'm not interested in Resident Evil or Monster High takes a toll on my energy, or just trying to tone down my love for it is very exhausting. Am I a little too much into Leon Kennedy? Maybe, but the real ones don't care. Okay, now let's talk about how this correlates with art. Well, like most artists, we draw what we love. I love Leon Kennedy, so I'm gonna draw him. Frankie is one of my favorite characters from my favorite media, Monster High, so of course I'm gonna draw Frankie 9 million times. People on the internet usually don't care that I draw Monster High characters, so it isn't something I'm usually ashamed of on the internet, but the minute I bring shipping and a piece of media, that's what makes it quote-unquote cringe. I do OCX canon, which it has been something I did when I liked a character so much when I was a kid, and the amount of artists nowadays I am seeing hate on OCX canon is crazy. Are you guys allergic to fun or something? I think OCX canon is very fun, not just as you as the artist doing and making it up and all that stuff, but also just reading other people's lore and how their OC met this one character. Y'all, that's reading Shakespeare. But I think I know why people dislike shipping because of fandoms and how shipping wars go crazy on the internet. Trust me, I know. I was in the Danganronpa fandom in the 2020 and 2021 years when I was a teen, so I've seen all the wars. I miss when I was 10 years old. I miss how I was blissfully unaware of just shipping wars and how people would just shit on you because you like a crack ship and shipped it as a crack ship. Well, technically, I don't think 10-year-old me was being ironic. I was being half ironic. Can I say what the ship is? The fandom's so dead, so might as well. I used to be really into Roblox myths as a kid, and I crack shipped Celibert, which is Salazar x Albert. Gotta be honest, all the animations and Speedpaints dedicated that ship was peak. All I remember is that I made ship art of the two twice when I was 10 years old, and I remember being so proud of it, and I put it on Amino and people were being so nice about it. I'll show a picture of it if I can find the drawings. By the way, I don't support anyone in the myth community anymore, by the way, and it's just so does Albert. Albert made like a whole video on why he stopped making videos about like the myth community. In fact, like his last ever myth video was in October 2022, I believe, and he stopped posting videos like that in a long time. Like his last myth video before that video was in like the pandemic, which was like April or like March 2020. Anyway, what was I saying? I was basically saying that people probably think that shipping is cringe because of that, but by the way, not everyone who ships something is crazy about it and goes feral when you tell them that you don't like them. Just maybe keep your opinions to yourself unless like you really need to do it. And even if you do share my opinion to me about it, I don't really care and I'm not gonna get upset at you about it. I'm sure there's so many others who are like that. I am very calm about what I ship about, and I'm not gonna like scream at you because you ship like Cleo X Deuce or something. I don't really care, guys. And the thing is, cringe culture was really bad in the art community because if you're a beginner artist, you're bound to make quote-unquote bad art, and people are gonna tell them like it's cringe and that they should stop drawing and that they suck and all of that. And it's 10 times worse if they draw like ship art of their OC and like the Onceler, or like they just drew ship art of like their favorite characters, like, oh, I drew ship art of the Onceler x Jeff the Killer, and they will like shit on them. If they were like as great as Picasso and they drew like, you know, the Onceler x Jeff the Killer, they probably would not as like be on their ass if they were beginner artists. But they probably would receive some criticism about it because, well, it's quote-unquote cringe. Anyway, in the year 2024, I think that cringe culture is dead. And it has been that way for some time, which I'm thankful for. Subscribe to my channel for great takes like this, and join the J Nation, and like this video or dislike it. I don't really care. Comment about your favorite ship. Yeah, in any media. It has to be, it could be any media. I don't know, I don't care what it is. My favorite ship nowadays is Frankie x Cleo and like the Generation 3, like the whole new Monster High. I think it's really cool. Hopefully I can get monetized soon, which means I'll do like the whole member thing, and if you become a member, you get to have like cool perks, which is like more videos and just videos that I would not finish and probably like work in progress and all that. So, be on the lookout for that. Okay, bye. Oh, so, before I say goodbye, like, P.S., all my sources are down below in the comment section, in the description. So, now you know I'm not capping.